Hi everybody, this is Celeste and I'm a Nationally Certified Interventionist, and I want to keep it really real tonight. I'm going to share a bit of my personal experience with some of the pressures that we put on ourselves trying to be perfect, and some of the consequences of putting those expectations of perfection on ourselves. And I want to talk about really embracing your own imperfections and imperfections in the world around you, because I really feel this is a relevant topic to a lot of people, and I can't necessarily speak for men, but I think for women especially, and a lot too for women specifically in my generation. And I want to share my own personal experience with this because I really hope that you guys can relate to it, and especially with women, because I feel like this is a common problem for women, and not that men can't feel this way, but when I was, looking at dating and getting married, when I got married, men in my age group, a lot of them still had moms that stayed at home when they were growing up. And then there was this transition to, a lot of women in my age group started to go into career and working, and because there was this big shift that towards keeping up with the Joneses and having that double income. And people want the 3-bedroom house and the 2-car garage and the 2 vehicles and the boats and the RVs and all that stuff. So having that second income really became a necessity. And with the women's movement and women moving into the workforce, I think it created a lot of pressure for women, because a lot of times, like the men in my age group really didn't get to learn those life skills of doing laundry. And I mean, not that a lot of men do that. I'm not trying to diss men here, but a lot of men really didn't get those life skills of doing laundry and cleaning and cooking, and because they still had those stay-at-home moms, and it was their way of expressing love for their family and caring for their family. They were a nurturer and caregiver for their family, and it wasn't something that was maybe intentional or that they did on purpose, but it was just their way of showing that they were caring for their family, and it was their job in the house and their role. But I found when I got married that I was working a 40-hour work week just like my husband, and then I came home, and the workload fell on me to do the cooking and the cleaning and the vacuuming and the laundry and the mowing the lawn and the shoveling the snow and all this stuff. And a lot of times there was this expectation of perfection, that it was supposed to be perfect. And that came a lot from the way I grew up, that you should have a clean house, and you should do things as perfect as you can. So that was just the expectation when I grew up, that you do you try to keep everything perfect. And then that was really reinforced when I got married. And I think a lot of people, and women especially, feel that way, is that they have a big workload of almost doing 2 full-time jobs, of having to work both in and out of the house and taking care of the children. And it's basically the equivalent of doing 2 full-time jobs. And then as a society, we sit back and wonder why we're having record rates of prescribing antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. And I really felt, when I was married, the anxiety and the pressure that went along with doing both of those roles. And and then my husband would act put out when at the end of the day I didn't have necessarily the time to put out at the end of the day. So I always felt like there was this tremendous pressure on me every day to keep up with all the stuff on my to-do list, right? Because it was almost like working 2 full-time jobs, and those expectations, and that expectation that I should be able to do it all and do it to perfection. And that was really just, I think, those expectations that society puts on us, and that I put onto myself, really created a lot of anxiety for me. And I found that when I was married, I was even having a hard time sleeping because of my anxiety. And when I first started drinking, I found, oh yeah, I'd have a drink before bed, and it would help me shut off my brain and help me sleep. And, then that one drink a week became, two nights a week I'm having a drink before bed. And I mean, you all know the progression. One drink a week turned into 5 a night just to be able to unwind and relax at the end of the day. And I really had to come to terms with that in early sobriety, and really reassessing my expectations on myself, and having to really dig deep and say, you know what, I don't want to put those expectations on myself. It's crippling. I wasn't getting any joy out of life because I was so anxious and trying to keep up with those expectations. And the lesson for me early on in sobriety was to really just embrace my imperfections and realize that I'm only one person. I'm only human. I can only do so much, and I can only contribute so much, because those expectations on myself and those expectations from others, it was literally killing me. And, even after I got sober, I found that people were trying to put those same expectations on me in sobriety, those expectations of perfection. And I started pushing back and saying, no, you know what, at the end of the day, I don't care if my house is 100% clean 100% of the time. And, it's not that my house is actively messy. It's not like I'm actively sloppy or messy. It's not like I've got food sitting out for days on end. My house is relatively clean. It's definitely not perfect. I do take an effort to make sure that my house is clean and tidy. But, even now I've got a high energy dog, and one of the things that she loves to do is she loves her stuffies, and she's a stuffy serial killer. Like, she loves to go to her stuffies. She loves to pull out all the innards, and if I wanted my house clean 100% of the time, like 100% clean 100% of the time, if I wanted that perfection, I'd be vacuuming up after her 5 and 6 times a day. And that would take away some of those experiences in life of actually spending time playing with her, taking her out for a walk, having those experiences with her, going out with friends, right? And so, I mean, I'm forever finding these on the floor. I'm forever finding stuffy innards on my floor. And you know what? I've learned to be okay with that. I vacuum once a day in the morning to clean them all up, and the rest of the time I'm okay with that imperfection. And I tried to explain to somebody that they were trying to tell, oh, you got to make sure your house is 100% clean 100% of the time. And I said, no, I choose mental health over perfection. Having a perfectly clean house at the end of the day isn't worth my mental health. And so, there's a few of these around my house right now. I'm good with it. And, because I'm choosing to be mentally healthy rather than trying to be perfect. And I think, we put so much attention on that expectation of perfection. And I've really just come to the conclusion that outer facade of perfection just isn't worth sacrificing your mental health for. And I get up in the morning, I do my very best every day to do the best I can to make sure my house is relatively clean, to make sure I go to work and do my best job at work, to do my best job with my friends and my family. But I've long since let go of that expectation of perfection, because I still struggle with anxiety on a day-to-day basis. And, part of that for me, part of keeping that under control and reduced is really focusing on not beating myself up if things aren't 100% perfect. And that was a lesson I really had to learn the hard way, because it literally almost killed me. Excuse me. And so, I'm really choosing to spend more time on experiences that are going to benefit my mental health and bring me joy, because having a perfectly clean house at the end of the day doesn't bring me joy. I clean it, great, it looks great, it's not perfect. I've come to accept that. And so I really just wanted to share that tonight, because I think as a society, we do put so much pressure on ourselves to have that outer exterior of perfection. And, you know, I really feel like at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And, you know, we've lost sight of the true meaning of why we're here and what we're here to contribute to society. And so I just wanted to encourage people tonight to go out and, you know, quit beating yourself up so much. Quit, you know, reduce those expectations on yourself and really look at some of those expectations and ask if they bring joy and happiness to your life, right? And we all have to do things that we don't want to do, right? Like cleaning the house, or, you know, some days we just don't want to go to work, but you know, we have to do those things. But just, you know, being realistic about our expectation of ourselves and others. And that's really the message that I wanted to leave you with tonight. I think especially coming up to Christmas, and I know Christmas is going to look a lot different this year with COVID, but I think, you know, especially with Christmas, people want to do up their house with all the lights and the decorations and have the perfect Christmas dinner. And, you know, it seems like an extra stressful time of year because we do put those expectations of perfection on our life, and you know, wanting to create the perfect Christmas experience for our family. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But also remembering that a lot of times your family members are just as stressed out this time of year trying to create that perfect experience. And, you know, in the last, you know, 5 or 6 years, my family's really focused on not giving gifts and just, you know, spending the time with each other. And I was even talking to my family the other day about what we want to do for gifts. And I said, you know what? Spending Christmas with my, you know, a few close family members and my dog, that's the greatest gift, right? Because, you know, we do put that pressure on ourselves to go out and do all the shopping and create the perfect Christmas experience. And then we end up so stressed out by January. Like, it's just, you know, I really have started evaluating, is it worth it? And, you know, I'm not even putting up Christmas decorations this year, partly because I think Miley would rip the tree to shreds. But, you know, I really am just choosing to focus on the experiences and, you know, touching base with my friends and family in COVID-friendly ways, and having Zoom experiences, and just putting my energy there. Instead of trying to be Superwoman and trying to do it all. So I really wanted to share that with you, and I think especially this time of year when we're all putting so much stress on ourselves. So I just want to encourage you to, you know, really look at your expectations and, you know, for gosh sakes, quit beating yourself up if you're not perfect. So, yeah. So I just wanted to wish you all a great weekend or a great week, and just, you know, thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate the people that tune into my lives and comment and choose to hear what I have to say. And I hope that, my greatest hope is that you can get something out of my lives that encourages you and inspires you and gives you hope. So tune in next week. We'll be doing a couple more lives, and Miley will definitely be back for Mondays with Miley next week. And you know, with her usual excited self, she'll be excited to join us next week. Her bone will be gone by then. So we'll see you all next week. Have a great week, everybody.